Before we begin, thank you very much to Isaac E. for joining my Patreon campaign. Thank you so much for your generosity. Thank you for the support. I said I was caught up, and then someone made sure I had one more shout out, so there we go. Fair play. Fair play. Make me eat my words. I appreciate that. I respect that. So maybe now I'm caught up. That's not a challenge, by the way. That's just a statement of fact. Alright, so we got pretty much a quiet news day, so it's not going to be a terribly long news roundup. He says that it's probably going to still go 20 minutes somehow. But no major drops, no major reveals. We already covered the big news of the week last week, which was the huge list of leaked new stuff. But as I always say, that when those big lists of leaks come out, it's just like a normal water leak, where even though you tighten the handle as much as you can, still going to be those little few drips that get out afterwards. So we got a few more to talk about. You know, these are the more significant ones we're going to start with. We have two new exclusives, one for a capsule release and one for buzzworthy Bumblebee. The first one being a leader class Toxitron. So obviously another reuse of the Laser Optimus Prime mold, and finally Toxitron coming out at retail as always intended, though yes, as an exclusive. So remember back in the day, for those who don't know, Toxitron, he was going to be a repaint of G2 Optimus Prime, but the toy, I believe for Universe, I think for Universe, and then the whole toy line got scrapped before that happened, and then Toxitron has been one of those like super random repaints for Optimus Prime throughout the years. It's rare, but it's happened more than once. And now we are getting it again in the proper, at least the proper design, if not the original intended toy. The other one we have is a deluxe tow line. Now tow lines had a couple. Now RID tow line was this bright green tow truck, and then Energon tow line was a van that kind of harkened back to the original Ironhide and Ratchet toys, where you had you had like the robot is only part of the vehicle, and then a lot of the vehicle shell became something of like a command base. So there's two routes they could go with this. Now it's listed as a deluxe. So the part that I would hope for, which would have been the 86 Ironhide mold getting retooled and repainted into Energon tow line, probably not the one they're going with. If it's going to be deluxe, then most likely we are getting a bright green repaint of the new Junkion scrap hook, because that's the only tow truck available at the moment, so that makes sense to me. It's not going to fit the best without some heavy retooling, but it could, and it is a way of reusing Scrap Hook and throwing back to an old character. So we'll see how that turns out. Could be wrong. Could just be a generic little repaint that just happens to be reusing the tow line name. But we will see. It is another buzzworthy release. Hopefully we get to see it soon. Now, another listing that we saw was new Transformers Red listings, and I'm shocked Transformers Red still has some life in it. Like, every time I saw it in a store, it was warming the pegs. I don't think I ever saw anyone buy it. No one really talks about Transformers Red. I think the just general consensus is they're just not done very well. You know, like I saw that the Prime Optimus and Megatron had some hype behind them when they came out, but for the most part, Red just seems like kind of flat. Which is really unfortunate, because it is an opportunity to do something that Transformers typically doesn't do well, which is action figures. Straight up cartoon accurate, well articulated action figures. So it's a mixed bag. Red is a mixed bag. But should your Walmart continue to carry Transformers Red, a Sound Blaster is on the way, a Skywarp is on the way, so normal repaints of things we've already gotten. But the new molds are more fun. We have a G1 Grimlock, so always good to see a Grimlock on the shelf. Kind of curious to see how that comes out. And then Prime Starscream to continue that little subset. So I can remember Prime and Arcee's come out, and then Megatron and Starscream come out. So you got your 2-on-2. I think we got Knockout. But like as a subset, I do think like because Prime had these designs, that you're not going to be able to get away with in full toy form. I think it works really well for putting out those characters. Even though I know a lot of us would prefer like fully transforming toys, but we've seen how those have gone, so maybe this is for the best. So hopefully Transformers Red can pick itself up. I hope Grimlock and Starscream turn a few heads and the toy line gets back up, because I do think it has potential. I just think it needs to be a little bit more effort to it. I think it needs. All right. A few more listings, and this is not a big deal, but the Titan Changers are getting a few additions. We've confirmed that we are getting, for Rise of the Beast, a Bumblebee, Scourge, and Cheetor. We've already seen the Optimus Prime from this, we know what these are. So if you've never seen, if you don't know what I'm talking about when I mean Titan Changer, I mean something that goes to one of the smaller stores, like a Walgreens or something. Those really tall figures that don't really have articulation, but they have a very simple transformation to them. The kind of thing you get for a little kid. So Titan Changers are going to introduce a few for Rise of the Beast: Bumblebee, Scourge, and Cheetor. And Scourge might be interesting. See, I'm trying to fix that pronunciation. It's hard. So, it's only been a few decades I've been saying it's Scourge. But Scourge Scourge is fine, but that'll be the interesting one. Bumblebee we've already seen, and we've seen Bumblebees in this size class. And Cheetor is pretty much just going to be arms down, legs out. I'm going to lay down and be a cheetah now. So not a whole lot of surprise now when I think. I don't know. For the Oddity Collector, it's going to be interesting. So we've got a few things coming out for that. Let's see, we have some Evolution Deluxe Crashbar behind the scenes listings, and this is generally another one of those Mark Mar like hype up little fests. Not a whole lot going on outside of just like, here's how I came up with the design. This is what the team worked with. They're like the name that Crashbar got approved really easily because it's available and it fit the character and his design. But yeah, it's for the most part, it's really just like fluff. To the point where if this wasn't a quiet news week, I probably wouldn't even include these anymore, just because it really doesn't say anything. It's just the designer going, "Isn't this cool?" while saying literally nothing new. It's not even behind the scenes. It's just the designer going over and saying, "My stuff is cool." So these posts don't really impress me, but for the most part, if you want to know how into it the designers are, there you go. See, we're gonna focus a little bit on Terrorcon Freezer here, because we got a picture of what it looks like in package, and it's pretty much what you'd expect. We at least have how he looks in CG, and he looks, considering his core class and they're very size limited, he doesn't look bad. He looks, he looks like a movie villain. I was gonna say Decepticon, but no, they're Terrorcons here. So, it's nice to know he has a CG model. We haven't heard of it yet. We haven't had a voice actor attached to it, so he might just be like a snarly monster type. But yeah, there's RCs, there's Freezers. Freezer, I believe, having, like, aside from like 12 steps transformation, kind of surprises me for what he does. But we can actually go to the in-hand view, and we can see inside the box where he has this dinosaur museum motif to his backdrop, so we get a little bit of an idea that this is the kind of scene that's going to appear in the film. This is where Freezer's going to show up. So I guess spoiler for the movie, they're going to go into for some reason they're going to end up in a history museum, and Freezer's just going to pop up somewhere. Potentially. The toy itself, I will admit, like for a core class, it does look like they've got a lot of detail and paint going on to emphasize a lot of his design, which that's actually cool. I really like seeing how much bronze has been added to his robot mode. Definitely gives him a little bit more character than I was expecting. I'm still not really sold on it. It feels just like another Battle Master, just like not, done about as well, which is, not. But in hand, he could be a lot better in hand. I will admit, like, I do like a 4-armed character, because that does add to a lot of potential and unique transformation processes. Shout out to whoever thought to put him in Laserbeak's hands. So we've got these little minion characters that have many forms working together. That's cool. And then, yeah, there's the gun placement mode as well. Yeah, I mean, he's gonna be neat, especially if you've got Scourge and you can do their little, like, vehicle mode combination thing. But for the most part, like, it's not really wowing me. He's definitely gonna be one of those, I'm in the mood to buy something and he's the only thing on the shelf kind of purchase. But who knows? Maybe he does something cool in the movie and I'll change my mind. We'll find out. But he shouldn't. This was, I believe, in Hong Kong. So I think this is going to be super close to releasing. Really, like, we're expecting just about all of the Rise of the Beast toys to start dropping, I think, at this point. All right, more in hand. Some goofy little stuff comes up. So the Classic Heroes team, the Rescue Bots replacements, have shown off their Starscream, who looks way friendlier than Starscream normally does. That's appropriate for the line. And he's a cute little take on G1 RC. Very simplified, of course, because it's a play school toy. But yeah, it's not so much as a schemy smirk. It's more like a small smile. You know, just trying to be friendly Starscream. Jet mode's appropriately cute. You know, I'm actually, like, kind of started appreciating these just for how, like, neat, quick little desk toys they make. Just as something like fidgets type of toy to goof with. I got Primal. I've got the little Grimlock here too. What the one I didn't have? Did anyone even find the Gator Megatron? Because I feel like that was cited and then vanished, and now it's like $40 online, which I'm not paying for a freaking play school toy. But I'm hoping that one comes around again because I actually kind of want that one. But these are turning out to be a cute little subset for Transformers. It's kind of weird. It's kind of weird that we're going to G1 for, like, the youngest kids toys. But I guess it's more like unify the brand type thing. When I guess since we're getting, like, Rescue Bot characters as full, like, collectors deluxes and stuff, I think that's fair. I think it's fair that they go back and forth. All right, we're gonna do a few sightings here. Since it's a quiet news week, we're going to throw in some sightings so you know which ones to go for, which ones you might find at your local stores right now. For starters, Nest Ratchet was sighted in the last week. So if you want your all, like, military gray and black Ratchet, from Studio Series, it is your time. Go and grab it. I'm still not really sold. Like, I think this looks better than the Bone Crusher did, if only because, like, Bone Crusher went from dull brown to dull gray, and this is going from, like, the bright, vibrant green to much more, like, stealth-oriented color scheme, which I think works better. I like the fact that it contrasts the original release a lot stronger than Bone Crusher did. Also, it's just an interesting palette on the toy. It's still not thrilling to me, but this one, like, I think a lot of these dedicated Wave Deluxes, like they did for, like, Toy Accurate Pterosaur, Chicken Skin Dinobot, a lot of these end up on clearance at some point, so if I spot Ratchet on clearance, I probably would pick one up. Alright. Also cited this week, the second wave, or the second series, of Micro Machines Transformer mystery packs and playset things have all been cited. So, if you want to collect strictly the Transformers, because these are mixed in with random, these are blind packed with also, like, random, like, just generic normal cars and things like that. If you're specifically after just the Transformers, 4A01 gets you Grindor, 4A02 gets you Brawl, 5A01 gets you a chase version of Ratchet in clear plastic. It's a rolling toy. It doesn't transform. It's not going to be under stress. I'm fine with it. 5A02 gets you Sentinel Prime. I believe that's the fire truck, not the snowplow. 6A01 gets you Nemesis Prime from the last night. And then 6A02 gets you G1 Jazz. So your Jazz collectors have a super tiny one to go after now. The thing about those is, like, and I really wish this image was bigger. Can we goof it? There we go. So yeah, we see the Sentinel Prime. It's a little bit not quite red and all. It's definitely not red. What am I talking about? The Nemesis Prime is weird to me. Because it's black with a blue flame, which is not how he looked in the movie. But yeah, I guess like the Jazz is gonna be the big appeal for a collector out there, right? So more of those if you want them. I haven't gone in for these. I haven't done Micro Machines since I was a little kid, so I'm not sure this would be my thing or not. But cool that they're available. I like oddities. Also found in the shape of oddities and your more like play school, very young kids type toys, we have the Minibot racers that have been cited. Someone already asked me if I was going to get the Trailbreaker for my collection. I'm like, Trailbreaker's, I like Trailbreaker, but he's not one of those characters I need every single version of. So like, I'm probably skipping out on these, if only because they went with this weird choice of having like this little pilot head sticking up thing on them rather than just letting them just be solid Transformers. Not bad, not a bad lineup though. Not a bad lineup. No bad guys in this line. Strictly heroes. So again, an oddity for those who are after the more unusual things. And even more oddities are coming out. So we have brand new licensed plushies for Transformers with this weird, super deformed style. Gigantic head thing. The Starscream does not look like he's having a good day. I'm not big on the aesthetic myself here. Now they're doing others. And this is again a super tiny picture for some reason. They're a little bit more stylized, but the proportions are a bit better. The Grimlock's kind of cute. So you got your options if you're after any kind of particular Transformer plushie. There's people who are, so I'm not going to doubt it. Yeah, and someone down here linked the Softimus Prime that could actually transform. Like that's the kind of thing that was like a little bit more interesting to me. And then our final item of the week. Transformers Earthspark has ready-to-read books for little kids who want to learn a little bit more about the world of Transformers Earthspark and get a few adventures in between episodes. Get the parents something to give them to read. Please get your kids reading. Reading is important. It's a pretty standard stuff. There's a little bit of an Optimus Prime adventure. There's Optimus and Megatron having to work together. Shenanigan stories. Oh no, the Terrans don't know how to cook, but they're trying to impress their new parents. Things like that. And then little book adaptations of the origin of the show too. So, your typical kid stuff, your typical kind of just give kids something to read book. So, nothing that I think collectors go for, but it's out there. It's worth noting. And that's going to be our news roundup for the week. Like I said, pretty light. Not a whole lot of major drops, major info going on, but we got a week ahead of us to get some more for next week, right? So, thank you guys for watching as always. Hope you're caught up on all your Transformer news for the week, and I will see you next time. Guys, I am facing the most powerful enemy any YouTuber can face, the algorithm, and I need your help to defeat him. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and leave a comment. Every time you do, we attack that algorithm and we drive it back until it can no longer defeat this channel. Thank you very much.